Hello everyone, it's Melanie from Mel's Inky Fingers, and I'm here to share this really cute and very simple card that really focuses on using up strips of designer series paper. And to create this card, we are going to use two products from the Waterside Retreat product suite, and that includes the Relaxing Waterside stamp set, and that's part of the Stamp and Die bundle, and the Waterside Retreat Designer Series paper. And this paper is super cute, and it has all kinds of images that remind you of a cottage or a retreat house, lake time if you like to fish or boat. This paper pack has you covered. But when I create, I find that I have a lot of strips left that are maybe an inch or an inch and a half, and I always look for fun ways to use those. And so this project focuses on using just whatever strips you have to make a little pattern collage to create this focal point on the front of this project. So I am going to show you how I made this. So if you are a subscriber to my Creatively Inked kit, you are going to receive this project already completed in your kit this month. And if you are not already a Creatively Inked subscriber, this gives you a little peek into what you need to create some of the projects we have. Now, each month I include a completed card, and that card is often something simple and easy to create as this project is. So to create this project, you're going to want a card base, and I am using Misty Moonlight. And then I have die cut two of the second largest perennial postage die shapes. So here is your perennial postage dies, and I've used the second to the largest die here. You can see which one that is. And I have cut one from Misty Moonlight and one from Basic White. Then I punched the tab with the Keeping Tabs punch, and this is from Basic White, and that's what we will stamp our sentiment on. And you can choose any sentiment in this stamp set. You have several to choose from, but I like that big, bold, relax. It's cute. And then just a variety of paper strips. So these are some of the patterns that I had paper strips from, and I decided to put my strips together so that they touch. But you could also put your strips with a tiny little space between them and adjust your measurement accordingly. But I chose 4 random patterns, and each of these strips is 3 inches long by 1 1/16. I know, I never work with 16ths, but this is not hard at all. 3 inches by 1 1/16, and you want 4 of them. And you can kind of mix and match, flip your patterns over, see which ones you like paired together. Sometimes you get a prominent color by flipping to one side or the other. It makes it really fun to put these together. And sometimes you'll notice the predominant color that comes out might be, for example, this is Cajun Craze, or the blue, which is why I chose Misty Moonlight. So to create this project, take your perennial postage die cut shape and liquid glue. I highly recommend liquid glue for this part so that you can kind of slide your pieces into position. And I'm going to put them together so you can kind of mix and match your patterns until you get what you like. Oh, I kind of like this fish. So maybe we can do that, and then we can do the fish, and then we can do this stripe down here. I think that's cute. All right, now we also have these cute little buoys. How cute is that? Super cute. Maybe I'll do that instead. And just kind of play with the patterns until you find something that you like. Now, if you would rather have a little gap between them, you can probably just make these an inch instead, and you'll just leave that tiny little space between, and then adjust it to fit on this die cut layer. But I really liked it where they were all together I think it just brings a cool element to this focal point. So slide these off, and then I'm going to take liquid glue, and I am just going to do kind of like 4 little ovals there. And what I want to be able to do is slide these into place. So I'm going to put the first one down, and you will have time to kind of push these around. Maybe I'll do this one next. I'm just kind of sliding it and letting it drop in. Then I'll do the fish next. And last, I'll do this on top. And then this liquid glue allows you to get them all lined up exactly how you want them. So that's why I recommend using the liquid glue. And then once you're happy with how they're positioned, you can set this layer aside to dry. Isn't that easy? And it's just that easy. You now have this really cute focal point to put on the front of your card. So while this is drying, let's do a little bit of stamping. So I'm using 2 ink pads for this particular project. I'm using Misty Moonlight, which coordinates with my card base color, and Versamark. And I am going to create a little bit of background stamping with the Versamark. I love Versamark. If you've never stamped with it, I highly recommend getting a pad. It's great for heat embossing, but if you don't like to heat emboss, it's also very good for creating watermarks on projects. And if you're not sure what a watermark is, this is a watermark. Although usually we're used to seeing watermarks in the form of like a name or a logo on something, but this is going to create a tone-on-tone image, but it's a little softer than using the coordinating ink. I could have used Misty Moonlight ink on this. It would have been a little bolder, but I like the subtle look that the Versamark provides. So I am using the large grass. So you've got 2 different sizes. I'm using the larger of the 2, and I am just randomly stamping across the card front in Versamark ink. And then I'm also going to repeat that same image on the inside, and I am stamping twice for every time I ink this grass. And that gives you just a little bit of depth. So it makes it look like some of your grass is further away, kind of off in the distance. And that's going to offer just a little something behind this focal point that we've created. Okay. So now let's do our stamping for the inside and the front. So we're going to stamp our sentiments. So for this, I'm going to use Misty Moonlight so that it coordinates with our card base. And you have a few options. You have birthday, Father's Day, here's to a new chapter, that would fit here in the center, relax, and then just this nice dad. And this could be dad's birthday or just all occasion, maybe retirement or thinking of you. So I chose relax for the front. Now, this is kind of going to be on the side, but you still want it to be centered. And then for the inside, I'm stamping have a great birthday and it's your day. So I'm going to put it's your day first because it's straight, and this is has an arc, and so it makes it just a little easier for me to line it up with this spacing so that it looks like it was all one word. Isn't that neat? Have a great birthday. Today is your day. So now let's bring our focal point back in and let's add a little bit of ribbon. So this is Misty Moonlight checked ribbon, and I'm going to add just a little bit of this. You can tie this kind of anywhere on here. If you have one of your sections that had a gap, or if it's a little crooked, this is a really great way to kind of hide it. But I'm just going to tie this here for just a little interest. And I'm not going to tie it in a bow. I'm just going to tie it in a knot. And it kind of just blends in because it's kind of tone on tone, which is always kind of nice. Now let's bring our card base back in and our adhesive. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold this, keeping tabs, punched piece in half, and put some adhesive on the front and the back. And then we're just going to fold this and put it right on the side of this piece. Now you don't want it to stick out too far because you want to make sure that it doesn't extend beyond the edge of the card. So just double check if you're not sure and make sure it's not too wide. So let's add some dimensionals on here. And this is going to go on our card front. This is a really fast and easy card. And I love that you can use up so many little sections and still appreciate all the pretty patterns in the paper. So many scraps, I should say. All right, and now this goes on the inside. So now we have carried this postage edge design from the front to the inside. And do you notice how that stamped grass just adds that little pop of interest in the background, both on the front and on the inside? Really easy. So last but not least, let's add a little embellishment to this. So I have these Moody Palette glossy dots. They come in 4 colors, and I thought they matched this paper really well. So I'm going to create kind of like a little cluster of focus down here by this knot. So you could do green and pull out some of the greens. You could do light blue. White would be really soft. You could really do this pop of bold if you wanted to, but let's just do these blue and just kind of give a little soft bit of interest down here. And there you go. Isn't that easy and fun? So now, depending on the paper patterns you use, I have a whole bunch of these here. I grabbed a few just to show. These are all different patterns. The stripe is going in the opposite direction. So it gives you a little idea of what some of them look like with all different patterns. And I also used a little different combination of sentiments. I did the Have a Great Birthday there, and then I put Today's Your Day, and I used the Family Celebration stamp set and pulled in Sun. Here's a couple of different pattern combinations, and then I did one using Cajun Craze as the card base and the background color because I thought the predominant color in this was Cajun Craze. So I switched it up and did a nice neutral ribbon. This is the Gray Granite Variegated Trim, and I used the metallic dots. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed seeing this very easy project, and it's a great way to showcase the beautiful patterns in your paper collections, but still allows you to use up some of those scraps that you may have. So I hope you give this a try. Thanks.